Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up with the Consciousness Café. This morning, I am so pleased to welcome no stranger to SoulCall, Natalia Zukerman. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
We are about to launch a brand new feature for our SoulCall Sundays, and it's going to begin with an 8:15 a.m. yoga practice led by our very own Natalia Zukerman. Tell us a little bit about the practice. So we'll get into a headstand first week. Is that what you're saying?
First thing,
Great.
like you can't join the Zoom room. You have to register for the headstand.
And send us a photo of yourself in a headstand. Then you get to enter the Zoom. Now, I
Yeah.
think I start there because some people have this idea of yoga being you've got to be able to put yourself in a pretzel, be on your way to becoming the contortionist at a circus, to be able to be in a yoga practice. And that's not it at all. Walk us back, calm us down with this beautiful offering you're putting forth on Sundays.
Well, actually, I just realized for the first time that it's 8:15 on 8:15. It'll be August 15th.
Oh, I didn't.
Which is so beautiful and synchronous. And this is an invitation to slow down, actually, and embody and notice everything, such synchronicities as that. Um, I feel really lucky that I got introduced to yoga in college. I was probably 19, and they were sort of little alternative classes you could take
Yeah.
that were little modules. And there was a teacher who was a student, and there was yoga. And she said, I'd love for you to take my classes. I knew her from various things. And I said, I can barely touch my toes. And she said, great, that's not what it's about.
Right.
And so I did. I took her class, and um, we went through traditional asana, but she really introduced the idea that yoga is a state of being.
Beautiful.
It's not about how much you can stretch or move. Asana is just one part of yoga.
And
And
asana means,
asana means the embodied physical practice, and it's beautiful. And there's incredible different traditions, and we'll be doing mostly vinyasa tradition, which just means a flow of movement to movement and breath to movement.
I'm going to ask you a question. You bring up something really interesting, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot or myself on the spot or even sound judgmental of the various forms of yoga which have come into being. Yeah, I'll say very recently. Like when you think of the history of yoga from Patanjali thousands of years ago, right? It was just as you described it. It was mostly about, and it still is in its essence, about the breath and about embodying and recognizing spirit, breath, body, how it moves. Um, Bringing it, do you think today part of what we see, like when we see, I don't even want to name names, but like extreme types of yoga, it might be a karate sport. I mean, an Olympic sport next time we see it. Do you think it's kind of westernized in pulling it out of the faith? Do you think that's part of the reason why we get so confused when we think of yoga? It has to be an intense physical practice. Is
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I mean, and it's been, co-opted from its original sense, which was actually asana as being just the physical movement practice, just one part of it. But it's just about union. The word means union or yoke. So to yoke yourself to God, to the infinite.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be moving to be in yoga.
Yeah.
But yes, the extremeness of our culture, when you're going to something that is a movement practice, you want to be able to like burn all your calories and get your steps in and do it
Right.
in a very short period of time. In fact, there are some teachers I'm sure that would be not horrified, but that would never teach a 45-minute class. It's not long enough to really stretch out and have philosophy be part of it and meditation as part of it.
Yeah.
Um, for us, I think it's perfect to just start out. We're going to have enough movement and flow and steadiness and rest
Yeah. I
also.
think it's such a beautiful compliment to the qigong practice we started too, because it's about that presence, isn't it?
Mhm.
Like practicing that presence. I remember the very first opportunity I had to do yoga was with Ashtanga yoga, and it's still
Mhm.
the one I semi do. Uh,
You do. I've seen you do it.
and very recently, I have to say, I was sharing this story with you about breath. I realized I was just kind of like what you were saying, I was just going through the motions to get my metabolism up, I like the way it makes my body look and feel. but the breath, all of a sudden I began to slow down. And I got in child's pose so many times during that particular practice because I was breathing and I could feel the tension, like little memory balls, like leaving my body. And I just would cry. I mean, I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised. And then my favorite part, which most people skip, is Shavasana. Tell us why that's so important, and what is Shavasana? Tell us what that means.
Shavasana means corpse pose, so you're lying as still as possible, and it's a moment to really integrate the movement into your body and just feel and actually slow down the breath, but stop being actually conscious of the breath for a moment. And in the study that I did for this certification program, the teacher said Shavasana is the most important thing. If you go to yoga class and only do Shavasana, you're doing it. You're laying down, you're aware of your body, you're aware of the room, you're aware of your breath. And she said often, people will come to class, case in point, they'll come and say, I have to leave early, which means they're going to skip Shavasana. And she said, when your students do that, look at your clock and 10 minutes before you have planned Shavasana, tell them to get into Shavasana so that they don't miss it. Because also culturally, when are we told, sanctioned to lay down
Right.
and slow down? It's actually a really radical act.
Yeah.
Take that time and take care, especially with everything we have going on in our world, to just, we are not the body, but we do hold so much in this physical form.
Sure.
And so what you're talking about, yeah, we hold so much. You'll often find doing hip movement, especially hip and calf, I find it holds a lot of tension, a lot of grief,
Mhm.
a lot of emotional pain for people. We store things, we have sense memory and muscle memory.
Right.
And so to be able to create more spaciousness in that, compassion for yourself within that, and
Yeah.
to have a consistent practice too. My hope is that this 45 minutes, whether you come once or you come every week, that it ignites that spark in you that you want to continue and do this daily. Although we hold ourselves, again, culturally, like, if I'm not doing the 100-day yoga challenge, I'm not doing it. It's
Right.
no. If you take a moment every day to just sit as you did and just notice the breath. Where am I putting it? Where is it getting stuck?
Mhm.
So, for instance, right now, if it's early, whether you're watching this early or later on in the day, if you put your hands on your lower rib, you can feel the lowest rib. And our lungs are in there, right? And they're filling up like this from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then on your next inhalation, feel your hands expand into the rib cage on the way out. Now it comes back in. Oh, it's just such a beautiful machine.
We start my voice lessons, brand new students like this. It's all about the breath.
Yeah.
You can't support yourself. That's a beautiful, simple.
And a lot of times, when we think about breathing deeply,
Mhm.
and this is often, I see people even practice this, that they want to fill the belly. Fill the belly, then fill the chest, then fill the head. Beautiful. And the lungs go in all directions. So actually making spaciousness here this way, we're going to make spaciousness this way so that you can have more pause, actually, to just notice.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful practice, that stretching and that breathing. I never took a yoga class. I don't even remember the first time I heard the word yoga. This is where I was raised and what I was doing. I think it was in my early 20s when I read Autobiography of a Yogi. I started
Mm.
saying about yoga, yoga. It was
Yoga.
not in my world.
Right.
So mind blowing to me, incredibly mind blowing. I didn't see it. And when I did, the closest thing I remember is like warming up as an athlete. We would have to do flexibilities.
Hmm.
And I thought, I was always very, very flexible. I thought, boy, if I had started this when I was younger with the breath engaged in the stretching and relationship, like I remember how to put my mind on a body part and stretch it. I could always do that. And I didn't know how I knew how to do that, but I did. Nobody else was doing it. But
Yeah.
it's like, so I invite the people viewing this today to go back into a time where you were kind of doing something, where you were paying attention to your body. Because I think do you think it's just inherent in our nature? Our bodies know how to work this.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about this sort of like, I personally, that hot yoga experience, it heats your muscles up to a place where you're actually doing things that you're not ready to do physically. I think it's cheating. And so I think it's wonderful if that's your practice. I like some of it, but I watched my niece last night, my little 9-year-old niece. She's on dance team and she's amazing. This kid is Gumby. She is so
Right. Yeah.
flexible. And I just, to let her slow down though, even give her a moment to think, because right now she's not going to hurt herself,
Right.
most likely. But as soon as, her body starts to change, her hormones start to change, we need to spend more time thinking about the way we're throwing ourselves into positions. And so, yeah, I think also what's going to be so great about online stuff, I think it's such a wonderful opportunity to often people go to classes and they're comparing each
Yeah.
you can't not, the teacher's like, this is just about your own practice, but you're like, how is she doing that? And or watching the teacher, and I'll definitely be doing the postures with you, but certainly, I'll do that more for alignment than anything else, and until there's nothing like a class where the teacher can really do hands-on adjustment. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But for to be in your own space, I invite people to even turn your camera off if you'd like,
Yeah.
because I won't be able to really see what everybody's doing, and that's not the point. Um,
What I appreciate about what you're sharing right now is there's this idea that we have favorites. You're not going to have any. Your favorite person is the one who's going to be everybody and who's breathing, like paying attention to their body. Because it's kind of like what this is the SoulCall philosophy. It's not about a competition. It's about an integration.
yeah.
And it's
And
such
our
a
favorite is actually the beginner. Like somebody who's never meditated, come to Monday meditation. It's because beginner mind is so beautiful and open,
yeah,
and we get to learn so much from each other,
yeah,
and it's an
yeah,
exchange.
yeah. So your passion for this, I know it's been over several years, and congratulations for getting your certification to do it.
Thank you.
And I could just tell the viewers of this too. I've had an opportunity to practice yoga with Natalia, and it's so gentle and inviting and encouraging, and just the way you move through it is just so beautiful. So I'm so excited to offer.
Dance, and I do invite you to be as dancey and beautiful and graceful in those movements. And it's about transitions for me. So it's, yes, holding the posture,
Mhm.
but the way we get into the next one, get in it and dance with it. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I have been practicing yoga for over 20 years, actually. From that first college experience, I moved out to the Bay Area and took Iyengar yoga for a while, Ashtanga. I've tried them all, I think.
Yeah.
Probably not all. I'm sure there's other ones I don't even know about. From extreme to hatha, very basic yoga.
So again, this the invitation is to listen to yourself. Don't get caught up into the pure pressure of the thing. If you go join a class someplace, trust your own body. And I know in Ashtanga that for me, I knew not to push because I've been an athlete, but it was hard not to. So I like just saying, even when it's you can get caught up in a thing, but just take it easy and enjoy the process. And
Well,
go
we learn
ahead.
our boundaries and our edges every day, right?
Yeah,
And it's different every day in
yeah,
your life, in your body, and your body will inform all of it.
yeah.
So,
So what,
going to a place of, you're pushing yourself, but you're not in pain. Your body is very intelligent. It
right.
will send a pain signal to your brain hole. Stop what you're doing.
Right. There's a reason for that.
There's a reason.
So one last pitch. Sunday morning we begin 8:15, as you pointed out earlier. What else do you want to say to invite everybody in for this amazing experience of yoga on Sunday mornings with you?
Yeah, just come with, if you have a yoga mat, great. If you don't, maybe a towel is good to have because we're going to lay down on the floor. Um, if you have an extra blanket to pad your knee, if you know that you need to pad your knee if we're doing anything that way. But otherwise, another towel. I do have a yoga strap and blocks and all the yib yab, but you don't need any of that. And it is a free class, but we are accepting donations to SoulCall, soulcallglobal.org/donate. And no donation is too big or too small. We will put that right back into our community, and just come with curiosity, some water,
Yeah,
and get ready to move and be in the stillness together.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Natalia. Thank you for offering that through Soul Call.
Yeah, I'm so
Join
glad to
us.
do it.
It's just going to be a wonderful experience. If you're a beginner, if you have some experience already, join us in that zone of collaboration, communication. And I like how it all comes together. Like you said, it's just like putting ingredients in a pot we both love to eat and cook.
Oh, and I want to say one more thing.
Yeah,
This is for men, women, non-binary, the whole spectrum of humans. I will say, as a woman, having studied many different types of yoga that were created by men, um, I have adapted certain things. Like often in many traditional forms, the feet are always together. Men have just generally slender hips. Women don't. So again, I have found that my feet are generally apart, and this is something we'll talk about quite a bit, but
right.
um, another invitation to just notice and be in your own practice. And I will definitely offer modifications. And the more practiced you are, the more I invite you to come and teach us all what you know and share together.
Beautiful. So be sure to join us Sunday morning, 8:15 at 8:15, and every Sunday after that at 8:15. You'll have to register uh, on our website,
That sounds cool.
soulcallglobal.org, to get the link to get into the Zoom room. So please do that. And we'll see you Sunday. Natalia, thank you again.
My
Cannot wait.
pleasure. My pleasure.
And remember, wherever you are on the planet, you are loved. Peace and blessings.